Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Nasty Addiction Garage. My name is Jeremy. We have a 92 Toyota MR2 project build that we've been doing. So first off, I want to thank all my subscribers. Once again, like I've always said, my analytics are showing you guys are doing great. Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate every single one of you guys, new and old. For the new ones, I'd highly recommend you guys going back to the beginning of this MR2 series, just because the transformation of this car now compared to what it was, it's ridiculous. It's super nice. So regardless, I think you should go back and watch the beginning and go from there, guys. But as of today, what we're gonna do, where we last left off, actually, is where we installed the fog lights, installed the headlights, painted the radiator, the lower and upper radiator supports, and the bumper reinforcement bars. So we kind of did a front end facelift, is what I titled it initially. But today, what we're gonna focus on is kind of the interior, nothing crazy. We're just gonna do a real quick episode on the SuperKlasse shifter kit. So I did get kind of like sponsored by SuperKlasse. They did send me a weighted shift knob, leather shift knob, by the way, really good quality. A short shifter, basically all the components inside, screws, everything that I need to complete the actual shifter installation. So I'm dying to kind of do it. I know the car's not running just yet, but having that shifter in is going to make it 10 times better. So we're going to put that in on this build, guys. So let's watch it. Let's get to it. All right, guys, here we have the SuperKlasse MR2 shifter kit. So it comes with right here the weighted shift knob. I will open that in just a few minutes. It also comes with a scan card that actually kind of shows, once you scan this with the QR code, it does show you how to install this shifter. I have not yet seen this yet, but I'm pretty sure it's straightforward with all the parts that they have here. This is a SuperKlasse solid base plate bushing kit, 8 pieces. Check it out. They look 3D printed, which is pretty cool because if one of these messes up, I'm pretty sure it's easy to get or reproduce. So this is definitely a good thing. Next, we have the drop plate with hardware and lube grease. Sorry. We have all the screws here. We have the plate here. Also looks 3D printed, which is totally fine. Comes with 3 bolts and 3, it looks like, washers as well. So this is their drop plate hardware kit, so that's awesome. What else do we got here? We got the shift lever seat cups. So this also is a 3D printed part, which again I believe kind of goes like this, right over, let me see, right over or around the shift knob itself. So it connects this way. It also came with the lube in one of these. Here we go, super lube, to make sure that the ball flows freely in here without any issues. And lastly, the C's short shifter. The quality on this thing is amazing. For one, like it has an engraved spot for the actual for the cable. A lot of you guys, I'm sure you guys all share the same pain where buying an eBay shifter like this, like those quote unquote HKS or whatever name they gave them, doesn't sit well, and every time you shift it kind of hits either the outside or it just hits someplace when you're trying to shift. This definitely eliminates that. I've seen a couple videos where they have been installed and it totally eliminates that whole hitting against, like in first gear and second gear and stuff like that. So I'm kind of excited to put this in on this car, just because what's going to happen is that it's going to be super responsive. I've never had a 5th gen motor, so the good thing about having a 5th gen motor is I can review it honestly, because I've had a V6 turbo and the power on that is way different from the power on the 5th gen here. So what I want to do is make sure that gears shift appropriately. They fit into their positions where they're supposed to be, especially with the short shifter. It's kind of hard sometimes, and I just definitely want this car to be super responsive. I talk, I just caught myself. I talk about it like if I'm going to keep it. I'm not going to keep it. I am selling it. So what I want to do is I want it to be the most comfortable shift possible for the new owner. So guys, let's get to this installation and we'll go from there. So let's go. Alright guys, so what we're going to do now is remove this actual, these 2 bolts here, the 2 bolts that go on each side of the center console towards the middle and then towards the back, and remove the whole center console so then we can get all access to our shifter, so we can go from there, okay? Alright guys, so what's next now is going to be removing the cables. So we have one cable here that is bolted to the actual shift knob. This actually looks like one of those eBay shift knobs, but it's super, like all this area in here looks super disgusting. We have like oil that's not even, it's probably 26-year-old oil. I don't know, it looks disgusting. Shifting is not that bad. Everything goes into its gear nice and smooth. Let's see, goes into its gear. This is 5th. Let's see, hold on. Yeah, obviously this shifter is definitely different from what it is supposed to be. Like, it shouldn't be that hard to do any of this. So 1st gear, 2nd gear, this is 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear, and that's reverse. Okay, so reverse, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. Not super hard at all to put into gears. We're in neutral right now. I'm going to remove this bolt, remove this actual clip, remove this piece as well so we can get this out of here. Let's go. Alright guys, so what I've done so far is removed all 4 bolts from the actual shifter plate itself. This is a full bracket that moves with when you remove all these 4 bolts. It looks like the previous owner actually had some type of like base, I don't know, like a shifter plate bushing going on. These feel almost like steel, or they're super light, so they're probably aluminum. So he did that on all four bolts. So it looks like he had a little kit going on. Next, we're gonna do. Oh my god! I just had a brain fart. Next, what we're gonna do is remove the bolt for the shifter cable here. Remove this pin, so then we can actually remove this. Pull the whole shifter up, like the shifter bracket itself. Remove these clips. Pull the whole shifter up and replace all what's under here. So let's get to that, guys. Let's do that right now. Alright guys, so what I did was I basically just flipped over the shift knob itself. Something just fell. It looks like the actual O-ring that goes around this part of the shifter cable. So we're gonna move these both and kind of put them to the side. Just this itself that goes right here. I'm gonna move it to the side and just put it with the rest of the stuff that I got down here. Okay. So, like as I was explaining, it looks like first off the person had definitely had a shifter cable bracket bushings kit. It's all right here, so we know where these go now. So the SuperKlasse shift kit also comes with these, which will be going under the actual shifter bracket or shifter box itself. So we're gonna put them here. I'm gonna clean this up really quickly and try to get it nice and clean, and then replace it with these type of shifter bushings from this SuperKlasse kit. So let's go. Alright Alright guys, so what I was going to do, I was actually going to install the lower shifter base bushings, but I'm going to save those for after I actually remove the shifter itself, just so then I can replace the shifter and stuff like this here itself prior to putting in the actual base shifter bushings itself. So let's remove these out right now. Remove this piece itself, replace the cup, re-grease it up, clean it up a little bit, and then we'll install the new SuperKlasse shifter itself. It's a C's shifter, so I can't wait. And their actual cup itself that belongs for the actual ball of the shifter itself. So it's going to be rolling nice and smooth in there, super slick, super quick. So it's going to be great, guys. So let's get that done. Let's get these bolts removed and replace that shifter. So the shifter box bracket itself is removed. Here goes the shifter and how it sits, usually inside a metal frame, which is this, which then sits this cup itself inside here. Let me see. It actually sits like this, and you get to shift somewhat. There we go. And you get to shift kind of like this. Cable sits. Actually, it's this way. Cable sits here. You shift here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove it from here. As you've seen, this pin actually just popped out itself. So this is going to be removed at the moment. We're going to remove this actual cup piece which the shifter sits into. We're going to clean this out. This has a rubber grommet, but it's disgusting. We're going to re-lube it and go from there. Alright guys, now that I got all this stuff removed, what we're going to do is actually compare the shift knobs. So this is SuperKlasse shift knob versus, it looks almost a welded, maybe eBay shift knob. It's maybe slightly shorter. The spline count, or the actual shifter itself on the turns are a little bit longer, so this ideally would go a little bit further down. It looks a lot different than what this one is, what the eBay one is. You could tell it's built cheaply. Welds are very crappy. It just doesn't look like good quality at all. But I mean, I don't know. I didn't get a chance to really maneuver it or anything like that, but it's just not very well made. This one, on the other hand, you see the difference in how it's built. This is definitely a good buy here, guys. Like, I'm not saying this because they kind of sponsored these parts for me. I'm very truthful with what I do. This is going to be actually the first time that I actually ever use any SuperKlasse parts, and I am super excited to try it because I've always used things like this, like an eBay part, but not always, but it's one of these things where it's just like, it's a shifter, you know what I mean? Like, for response, shift response, and all this other stuff, I totally get it. But I mean, the quality is seen here. Like, the eBay versus something like SuperKlasse's work, it's really great. So let's get to installing this shifter itself and go from there, guys. Let's go. So that piece that I'm talking about is right here. So it's very well 3D printed. This is going to be called the shifter lever seat cup. The cup itself is, it says remove the factory grommet from the metal holder when installing the new custom shifter level seat cup. Also, the factory snap ring is no longer required. So that means that this itself is strong enough to do two jobs at one time. The height of the original, like that rubber grommet that actually kind of sits the original shifter itself up, or that eBay shifter up, no longer is needed. So this thing is going to be great to install, because at this point we just eliminated two things that are not going to be needed from original equipment stuff. So ideally what we're going to do now is install both of these and go from there, guys. So let's get to it. Okay guys, so what I did was remove that rubber grommet that we had on the bottom underneath this piece from, let me remove this. So there was a rubber piece under here. Let me see if I can find it. This is the rubber piece that was sitting inside this piece itself. This came either factory or it came with that shifter that was on here before. The SuperKlasse shifter kit causes for this to be removed, so we no longer need this itself. So that's going to be great. What we're going to do is actually replace it with this. So what I like about this is that it eliminates the clamp that goes over the original shifter, kind of like a seat bracket thing, like what this replaces. So ideally, the good thing about this is that it sits directly right into here and it falls in perfectly once put together. So what I'm going to do now is lube the interior portion of this, put it around the actual shift knob itself, fit the shift knob in here with the seat itself, all at one time. So let's get it done. Alright, so now what we're going to do, we're going to add some lube to the, a little bit of lube on the interior portion of this, a little bit of lube on the end of the ball here, a little bit of lube of course on here, and then fit everything together, which then the shifter brace goes into here, the cup itself. We put the actual shifter in there as well with it together in one piece, and attach this right on the inside portion of it, and we'll go from there, guys. So let's get that done. Alright guys, so what I did here is just basically lubed it all up, so then we can have some good movement, good flow here, which we really do. It's super responsive. You could feel it. It's kind of, I know it's not hooked up or anything like that, but you could almost feel the difference in shifting itself. It's like it definitely moves a lot smoother, and is just uniformed almost. So let's get all this stuff attached together and go from there. So let's go. Guys, let's put this all back together again. So what we're going to start off with actually is the SuperKlasse base plate bushings. So we're going to start with the bushings first. I need 4 bushings to cover the 4 notches here in the actual base plate itself. So we have 4 right here. They fit pretty well inside the OEM grooves. They almost sit on there themselves. As you see, they're not moving, which I am totally appreciative of, because the initial ones that this car had, which looked like they were aftermarket, but they did not fit well. These fit really well. As you see, none of them are moving. The measurements are on par. They're still on here, even if I'm flipping it upside down and everything. So now that I got these on, I kind of just pressed them on themselves, and it actually worked really well. So I'm going to move this aside. I'm going to get the shifter now in tune with this piece itself. So it looks like I have to push this right through here into the shifter itself. right like that. These two will go on the shifter plate itself underneath, and then we will go from there, guys. So let's do it. So what you've seen there was a test fit to make sure that the shifter fell in perfectly fine, and it sure did. It moved perfectly fine. It literally sat in there and fit very well. Now what we're going to do is actually put the base plate that SuperKlasse offers with their shift kit right over here. So what we're going to do is, this is the base plate that they offer. We're going to sit it right on here, which fits absolutely perfect with the and parallel with the actual shift kit itself. So what we're going to do is set this up. Let me move this a little bit so it can sit perfectly fine. It fits perfectly flush with no issues or anything like that. We're going to sit it into the actual shifter box or bracket itself, just like this, and install their screws. So let's go. Alright guys, as you see, I do have the shifter plate on here. I'm going to align it once I align everything here. We have all our screws and stuff right here. I don't think we're going to use this clip or whatever it was initially. We have 2 bolts that go on the front, basically up here, right up top. And we have 2 bolts itself that screw in from the bottom that have nuts already on the inner portion of the shifter bracket itself. So we're gonna get that done right now. Then we're gonna attach the cables back. We will attach these little bracket locks. Basically, I don't know what these are called actually. Just I don't know, but they go basically to hold the shifter cables in place. We'll replace those back. Put the bolt back on the actual shifter itself, and shift around to see how it feels. I know the car's not on just yet, but I could definitely feel the engagement because the cables are hooked up to the transmission. So let's get this done, guys. Alright guys, so I got it basically in place. I got the shifter base in. I got the cup itself in as well. Got all the screws back in where they belong. Got all the shifter, oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it goes. The shifter bushings on all 4 ends. So now what we're gonna do is get things going on, put everything back together again, and go see how smooth this thing shifts. So let's go. Alright guys, we are super close to being done, but if you see, this is now complete. Everything is in there. The C shifter is in perfectly without any issues, which is great. Shifts perfectly fine. This is neutral, 1st gear, 2nd gear, 3rd gear, 4th gear, 5th gear, neutral again, reverse. This feels great. Super smooth, like you can like literally do it with 2 fingers. This is really like, you can literally shift all these gears perfectly fine with 2 fingers. This looks amazing. I'm gonna put the rest of the stuff together, put the SuperKlasse shift knob on, put the surroundings, put the actual center console back on, and we'll literally just kind of test it out through all the gears with the shift knob on and all the pieces together to make sure nothing hits and stuff like that. So let's go, guys. Alright guys, got the center console in. What I'm going to do is now is add the shifter surrounding back on. Put the stock shifter boot itself. Mind you, that boot is not going to stay that way. SuperKlasse is also sending me the upper portion of the shifter kit. So it's going to be the circle shifter kit, which is going to be the surrounding with the ring and the boot itself to match the weighted shifter. This weighted shifter is amazing. This thing is super heavy, and the good thing about this is that it's going to be great, and it's not metal. You know, I mean, it's probably metal in here, but this itself is leather. I mean, this thing is awesome. It's black and red. I'm going to get the shift boot as well. They're sending me all that stuff. It just got delayed a little bit in the mail, which is totally okay. Not too worried about it, but this thing is going to be amazing, guys. So let me finish this up so we can test it out. Alright guys, shifter knob is literally installed along with the OEM bezel and the OEM boot. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna be replacing this. SuperKlasse was awesome enough to send me the shifter ring along with the shifter bezel. It's gonna be awesome because it's gonna fit perfectly. The boot's gonna match the actual weighted shift knob, and I'm gonna have the actual circle bezel with the black ring, so it's gonna match perfectly fine with the interior, along with the boot itself. But let's just shift through this so then you can see how easy it is. I got two fingers here, guys. Look, so we're in neutral right here, literally. First gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, up, fifth gear, neutral, and reverse, guys. This is awesome. Like, this literally feels great. As far as shifting goes, this thing feels amazing, guys. It's perfect, and I can't like it anymore. This is just great. I want to send a big thank you to SuperKlasse. I will have all their information down in the link below for all the parts that they sent me. Again, thank you, SuperKlasse. You guys are amazing. This is probably one of the best shift knobs and shift kits that I've ever had. I can't wait to see what the shifter bezel and the boot feel like. But again, guys, this is one of the best things you could probably buy for your MR2. It feels amazing, and it shifts perfectly fine. This weighted shift knob makes a heck of a difference when it comes down to shifting. It feels perfect. Like, everything literally feels, I mean, like stock and like super smooth. Like, it's literally like, this is two fingers, guys. This is crazy. Alright guys, so shifter knob is on, everything is installed. Again, this is gonna be changed up, guys. I'm gonna get from SuperKlasse. They were awesome enough to send me the circle ring bezel along with the shifter boot as well. Thank you, SuperKlasse. This is probably one of the best shifter kits that I've ever used, and I've had multiple MR2s. This is a good testimony on how this thing shifts, guys. Like, this is video, 4K video to be exact, 4K at 60 frames per second, to show you how awesome this shifter is, guys. So we're gonna kind of review it. This is the leather shift knob that SuperKlasse offers. It is great. I mean, it is extremely heavy, which is awesome when it comes down to shifting and stuff like that, which I am a big fan of. And underneath, I have the C short shifter from SuperKlasse as well. Along there, we have a lowering plate along with a new ball cup, which basically where the stick itself, like this, the shifter itself fits into a cup, and it literally fits great. It comes with the lube, everything that you need basically to do. One of the best kits, guys. Again, I will leave all of SuperKlasse's information down below. I love this thing. I'm definitely gonna get one of these for my V6. So for the other project, SuperKlasse, I mean, they already sent me one, basically the shifter bezel and everything like that for the V6. So then when we start that project, we have some good shifting going on. Again, guys, I'm gonna show you guys how awesome this shift is. Literally, I'm gonna use 2 fingers. So literally, this is in neutral, right? 2 fingers, guys. Check this out. First gear, right? Second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, back in neutral, reverse. Guys, this is awesome. So if you haven't checked these guys out, check them out. They got a ton of MR2 stuff. This is again something that is well worth it inside of an MR2, guys. So this is one of the best things that I have ever had, basically, on an MR2. As far as shifter goes, I've had multiple MR2s. I've had over 8 of them, and this is probably one of the better kits. It feels great. It feels very smooth to the engagement. Everything is really good, guys. So thank you again, SuperKlasse. I will leave all their information down below. Hey guys, this is going to conclude today's episode. I just want to first and foremost thank all my subscribers, guys. You guys are the best subscribers out there. Again, thank you again for watching my videos fully through. The analytics speak for themselves. You guys are doing great. Thank you, and thank you again. We got a lot of things still left on this MR2 project, but we did get one out of the way, which is this SuperKlasse shifter, guys. Thanks to SuperKlasse. A big special thank you to SuperKlasse for that shifter knob and that shifter kit. It feels amazing, guys. So if you guys have MR2s and you guys want more responsive, better and smoother shifting, I definitely recommend SuperKlasse, guys. These guys have the best parts thus far. I've been in the MR2 game for a really long time, and this shifter, I can say, aside of them kind of giving me these parts and doing all this, aside from that, guys, me being an individual and an MR2 owner, this part is epic. You guys, I mean, by all means, probably one of the best makes and versions for this MR2. Shifter shifts smooth, really no issues going on with that shifter, man. It feels great, nice and low. So guys, if you guys ever need something from SuperKlasse, check them out, man. They have these stuff. That weighted shift knob is probably one of the better ones out there. Again, thank you, SuperKlasse, for all this stuff, and I look forward to the shifter bezel and the O-ring. So we'll make a video on that as far as that goes when that comes in. But we got a couple things that came in that I didn't show on camera, but it is on my social media. Intercooler. I got that from eBay. A nice, simple intercooler, side mount, so it's gonna be good. I put that aside. I want to thank MR2 Heaven and Eric Fuen for hooking me up with the intercooler fan bezel or fan shroud. That thing is very well built. I want to say thank you to MR2 Heaven again for hooking me up on that piece. But I took both of those pieces, intercooler and fan shroud, to go get powder coated that 50/50 black. So everything's gonna be black on red in that engine bay, guys. So I can't wait to get this car turned over. We have quite a couple things left to get done, but we're gonna get them done, guys. In the next few episodes, we're gonna get it all done. So please stay tuned, guys. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe to my channel, guys. It's getting good. I can't wait to turn this car over. This is Nasty Addiction, guys. So you already know we build differently. Thanks.